Jump Beef is one of the most iconic jump maps of all time. It is a beginner jump map with 3 courses, textured in dark wood and accented by wooden cows. This classic map is a timeless masterpiece. And at the surface, the speedrun of this beginner map looks pretty simple. Just go fast. But it's much more complicated than that. The objective of any speedrun is to get from the start of the jump map, hit all of the required checkpoints, and then get to the finish of the map. To do so, we use rockets, which are either required to complete a jump or are faster in general. In most newer maps, you get constant regen regardless of where you are in the map. However, Jump Beef is an older map and has something I like to call isolated regen. This means you will only get regen in certain areas of the map. Otherwise, you will have to reload your rockets, which take up precious time during a short speedrun. In order to avoid having to reload, jumpers over the years have come up with strategies to avoid having to reload as much as possible while going as fast as possible. Here in this video, I want to explain what is happening in my most recent speedrun of Jump Beef and explain the intricate details of the run. The run starts off with a speed shot just before the second jump, to a wall shot, then a sink near the starting area. This is to get enough speed for a sink right after, and required to do so as we wouldn't have enough rockets otherwise. The next challenge is getting a good second sink. If you remember earlier in the video, there's an invisible regeneration zone that we must hit in order to get more rockets. This happens to be just far enough out to pass through while also getting enough horizontal speed to move through the rest of the course after the sink. Now that we passed through the regen zone and didn't scrape our toes on the ledge, we now must quickly wall shot towards the water, which is where our next bottleneck for runs are. In Team Fortress 2, if you hold space in water, you can float, but you also bob up and down in the water. This movement reserves vertical momentum in water, and our next rocket will take advantage of this bob cycle in order to gain as much vertical height along with horizontal speed. In this particular run, however, I didn't get as much height as I would have liked to, as timing is nearly random. I had to compensate with an additional rocket right before landing in order to slightly boost myself forward to set up for the next jump. The next goal is to get to the end of course 1 in 2 rockets and hit a low regen block right after the second rocket. During my run, I'm currently looking at my rocket ammo to see if I hit the trigger or not in real time. This determines whether or not I have to reload here or not. Because I missed the trigger here, I reload a rocket before pulling out my shotgun. It loses some time, but not much, so I continue. Next, I immediately shoot the button to open the door for the second course by aiming slightly higher after respawning. Now with the door open, I can propel myself forward and low in order to hit a low-angled speed shot right before the teleport into the second course. Because teleport destination triggers maintain player momentum vectors, the result of the speed shot shoots me through the teleport destination trigger at a low enough angle to be able to shoot one rocket to skip through the first jump of the course very quickly. The next part of the run is just getting into the next teleport trigger as quickly as possible. I shoot a rocket on the floor, do a C-tap, and then shoot the wall and strafe into the teleport. A relatively simple jump compared to everything before it, but just as easy to mess up. Next is the infamous skip jump. Here, we do the jump as intended, however C-tapping for distance immediately after teleported in order to save milliseconds. Right before landing, I shoot a rocket to set up a sink for the next jump. After the sink, we have no rockets left, and therefore we must hit a regen trigger. The next one we want to hit ends halfway up the wall, right before the next jump. And because of this, we must do a sink that avoids too much height, but still gets us far enough to set up for the next sink. Next, we want to sink about where this cow is. and then wall shot on this white wall in order to get us to the final jump of this course. But the white wall cannot be hit by the player's hitbox, or else they will be teleported to the beginning of the jump. Therefore, a mastery of air control while wall shotting must be performed as not to touch the wall while shooting it. Next, we enter the final jump, which is a rocket sink jump. We shoot down on the wall to fall as quickly as possible to the bottom of the jump. Next, we do the jump as intended and sink to finish the course. There are no regen triggers down here, so we must conserve all rockets to begin the next course, and you will see shortly why we do this. Finally, we enter the final course. At this point, you should have at least 3 rockets reloaded. Next, we do a C-tap to 2 wall shots. This will get us to the next jump where we will be out of rockets. However, there is a regen trigger on the floor of the next jump which will allow us to speed shot immediately after getting ammo. After this, we will have 3 rockets to use to get to the next jump. We use one on the wall here, another right after entering the hole to shoot us down and back, and the final one to get us to the beginning of the next jump. This chain of events would not be possible if we didn't conserve ammo on the final jump of Course 2. This is because we would need to hit a regen trigger at the beginning of Course 3 otherwise. And because regen triggers have cooldown periods, we wouldn't have gotten ammo after speed shotting from the second jump of Course 3. This entire strategy saves about 1 second. Next, we do the jump as intended, but saving a rocket, and therefore time. To do this, we do a C-tap, a good strafe, and a wall shot, and another careful strafe around the obstacle to get to the button door. Shoot a rocket down the hole to sink with later, then we shoot the wall here to sink with the rocket. Shooting the wall does 2 things here. 1, it gives us more speed than otherwise, and 2, it avoids bonking on the ceiling of the jump. This strat is very easy to mess up because of the low ceiling, and at this point in the run, nerves. After a successful sink, we can shoot the wall here on the left twice to make it to the second to last jump. This next jump is fairly simple, but another jump that can succumb to late run nerves and can be infuriating to screw up. You can either go too high and lose time, or you can go too low and end your run completely. In my run, I hit it dead on. Finally, the last jump is just wall shot as fast as you can and don't fuck up. And that's it. Jump beat speedrun. I hope you learned something and have a better understanding of what goes into some speedruns in TF2.